Brandis, and you mentioned that violent weekend in Chicago with 11 people killed in shootings. With that news still fresh in the headlines, Chicago's top cop flew today to Washington, D.C., where he was among leaders in law enforcement who met with President Joe Biden. Amanda Vinicky joins us now with more. Amanda, what happened at this meeting?
Paris, though this is of little solace to Chicagoans and particularly victims, this is a crime wave that is hitting cities across the nation. President Joe Biden late last month unveiled his strategy for fighting it. It is a multi-tiered strategy, and today he held a meeting with law enforcement leaders and mayors, including Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown, to talk about it in more detail. Much of what they talked about was behind closed doors, but not all of it.
Well, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. We know there are some things that work, and the first of those that works is stemming the flow of firearms used to commit violent crimes. And you and I have talked about this, Mayor, before. And it includes cracking down on holding rogue gun dealers accountable for violating the federal law.
Biden's plan also includes federal funding for local law enforcement to use to pay police overtime and to implement community policing strategies, money to fund community interventions, also funding for mental health clinics.
Fourthly, our strategy to fund other vital services like mental health and substance abuse disorder programs, job training, and summer job programs. And this is going to help prevent crime and support young people to pick up a paycheck instead of a pistol.
Now, speaking with reporters afterward, Brown says they did talk about long-term concepts for fighting violence like street outreach and violence interruption. But he says the real focus was on immediate solutions.
We really focused on near-term, making serious consequences a thing that happens in our cities with gun trafficking. Those who create violence in our cities that's happening right now. There was a sense of urgency both from the president and his administration. Both the Attorney General Garland was talking about a sense of urgency. What can we do now, adding resources now to have an impact on violence in our cities?
And upon questioning from the Sun-Times Washington-based reporter Lynn Sweet, Brown also shared that he had a one-on-one with Attorney General Merrick Garland, who grew up in Lincolnwood.
We had some commitments from him to help out with Chicago, and he offered whatever we needed from DOJ. We would get those resources. It includes task force officers. It includes additional prosecutions. It includes fast-tracking investigations on conspiracy cases. These are the people that drive violence in our cities. And so there was a significant commitment. It wasn't just a bland, great thing that you didn't, it was very substantive.
Now, President Biden himself was in Illinois less than a week ago, and he then had his own one-on-one chat with Mayor Lori Lightfoot when Air Force One landed at O'Hare. Biden flew in after the deadliest weekend of 2021 over 4th of July, when Chicago saw more than 100 shootings. Both leaders' teams say that violence was the prime topic of discussion during their tarmac talk. Now, another leg of the White House strategy is deploying 5 so-called strike forces to cities, including Chicago, and that'll be focused on ending gun trafficking. There is still no official word on when those strike forces will be deployed, but both Brown and Mayor Lightfoot today said that they indicated it will be coming soon, perhaps even within days. The mayor, however, this afternoon rebuffed a suggestion that Biden should also bring in the National Guard.
I don't think the National Guard is the kind of resource that we do need. What we need are people that are trained in local law enforcement, and that is folks like ATF, DEA, FBI. Those are the kind of resources that I think would really have maximum impact at this time.
Chicago pastor Anthony Williams recently walked to Washington to bring his attention to anti-violence effort. His son Nehemiah was shot and killed in 2018. And Williams says that America is imploding with crime, that nobody is safe. Yes, he says that anyone who has an illegal gun should be arrested and punished. But he says the president needs to view dealing with crime from another perspective. Specifically, he says, viewing violence as a public health crisis, as a new Illinois law now does. Williams wants Biden to do the same.
The president needs to hear another voice in this country. And I think in Illinois, we have been that voice in terms of getting House Bill 158 passed. And so I would talk with the president in terms of talking about solutions and talking of understanding the symptoms of violence versus it's just the gun. It's not the gun. I've never seen a violent gun, but I see violent people.
Now, meanwhile, Lightfoot says that the president of the local Fraternal Order of Police Lodge, John Catanzaro, was premature Friday when he announced that the city and the police union had, at long last, reached a new deal on a police contract after a 4-year holdout of negotiations. Lightfoot this afternoon saying there is no deal, but she says she and her team do have a proposal to evaluate, and once it is reviewed, she'll have more to say about it. With that, Paris, back to you.
Well, that statement the FOP president put out on Friday was a little bit cryptic because he said there was a deal on the financial part of it. But as you know, Amanda, there's all these other aspects of it, including the consent decree. Yeah. All right, Amanda, busy day in Washington, D.C. and Chicago. Thanks so much.